Hello everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. So we are doing a reaction video today to anything you have tagged me in on Instagram or TikTok, where we're looking at like makeup-y things, right? And in this one we have a few, not just like people putting in on their makeup, but a few other things. If you see anything on Instagram or TikTok that you think I should react to, then go ahead and send it to me, to me in a message or just at me in the comments. And as I always like to say in these videos, creativity and individuality have no rules, but makeup has a theory, so let's get into it.
Please stop covering your dark circles. Yes, you heard it right. If you're over 40, covering your under eye darkness is exactly why it's getting worse. And here's what most beauty brands won't tell you. After 40, dark circles aren't just about being tired. They're caused by 3 biological changes happening beneath your skin. First, dark blood pigments accumulate under the eyes. Second, your skin naturally thins, making those pigments more visible. And third, loss of elasticity creates shadows that makeup alone can't fix. That's why traditional concealers fail women over 40. They're designed to mask problems, not address them. But Fiera Cosmetics took a revolutionary approach. What if a concealer could provide instant coverage and address the root causes with clinical skincare ingredients? The moment you apply this luxury concealer, 3 powerful ingredients go to work. Peptides immediately begin breaking down those dark blood pigments. Hyaluronic acid visibly plumps and thickens thinning skin. Collagen works to restore elasticity, diminishing those shadowy hollows. The results? Immediately brighter, younger looking eyes and skin that actually improves over time, even after you remove your makeup. The proof? Over 1.5 million sold, with one flying off the shelves every 24 seconds. Women who thought nothing would work are seeing transformations they never thought possible. Click the link below now for their exclusive offer. If for any reason you don't love it, you have 30 days to exchange or return it for a full refund. No questions asked. The sooner you start, the sooner you'll see why this concealer has become the secret weapon for women over 40 everywhere.
A few things about that, right? Dark circles on a lot of people, right, is caused by the same thing, whether you are over 40 or not. So tiredness, blood that you can see through the skin. I mean, there are children with very thin skin here, very fair people I have done it on as well, whether they're in their 20s or not. Elaborate on covering it is why it's getting worse. Using the wrong shade could be why it's getting worse, but concealer isn't making your under eye circle darkness worse. If you use visibly, it might not be improved. If you're using something too light on top of a dark area, it can look grey. That's where it could be making it worse, but using concealer isn't making it worse. It's not improving it in terms of the actual thing. In terms of the colour it might be, but it's not making it worse. And then she said 3 things that beauty brands won't tell you as to why it's happening. Darkness under the eyes. That's what we use concealer for. A beauty brand doesn't have to tell you that's why. You know what I mean? That doesn't make sense. And yes, oh, and her third point was the puffiness, or the loss of elasticity that can create like puffy areas that cause shadow. No makeup can correct that. Even this concealer that they're advertising can correct it. It's not going to stretch it out. That's never going to improve with concealer or skincare. It might minimize it slightly, but for eye bags like that, it's surgery. I'm sorry, but you have to have surgery to pull it. You don't have to, but if you want it gone, you have to have surgery. That's what this brand isn't telling you. Also, I know I haven't used it, but I mean, the results look fine, but they just look like any other concealer. They're not exactly showing results that I would be like, wow, that's so different to any other concealer. And it actually looks really heavy and cheap. I'm going to be honest with you. I can see that texture. I can even smell it. You know what I mean? It just looks really heavy and cheap. And she called it luxury, but in some instances, it just looks too heavy. And actually using something that is too heavy can make your under eyes look worse because it shows off texture more. It drags the skin down. So this isn't, to me, this isn't really impressive. This is very a gimmicky sale for something that actually on the results looks just like regular concealer. You can still see shadows. It's completely normal to have skin like that and textures like that, but don't be saying like, this is what brands aren't telling you, but here's our one, when it's actually just giving exactly the same results. It doesn't make sense.
Okay, we need to talk about this Danessa palette because I know so many of us have been excited for it. I've put it on in Sephora and I used 2 shades. This is the worst creasing I've ever had in my life. Ever. I mean, can you see that? There's like nothing really left. It's all in the crease. Now, I don't know. And I'd already blended that out throughout the day, I think twice, because I'd had that and I patted it back out and then it's done that again. And I think this was about 6 hours later from first application. I didn't put a primer on, but I doubt a primer's going to fix that.
Quite literally.
Let me know your thoughts.
Okay, so I left a comment. I said a good eyeshadow primer 100% will stop this from happening. This is literally what eye primers are made to stop. Not the slippery silicone ones though. I have used these palettes with a Sigma eye primer specifically because I mean, when she rubs it back out, to me, that is good for that formula 6 hours later, because that formula, okay, so let's learn a lesson from this. Not all eyeshadows are the same, right? So that kind of formula is more mulchy, it's more wet, it is more, mulchy, what a horrible fucking word I just used, slurry-like, right? So it's not a powder, it's not fully a cream, but if it is going to crease, especially on those areas. However, primer, as somebody, I have these ones, a good waxy primer. When I say I like eye primers, I don't just mean every single eye primer, right? There's 2 or 3 that I really like, and it has to be a very particular formula, a very particular texture. Eyeshadow stick texture will 100% stop it. I know because I've done it. I know because I've worn it. I know because I've done it on clients. This is why I don't use concealer either, because concealers are moisturizing. Imagine having that concealer that's hydrating, that has those moisturizing ingredients, and then putting something else that is more water, that is more creamy on top. You're just asking for disaster, right? I think that is pretty good for 6 hours later with no primer. I just expect, if you're not using a primer, for your eyeshadows to be fucked up. I'll be honest with you. I'm not saying it's always going to happen, but in my mind, for security, I just assume that it is going to be ruined if I don't use primer, because everyone's eyelids are different. Someone could be extremely oily, some could be extremely dry, so you don't know what's going to happen. That's really good, but I thought this was a really good video to watch because it really shows not all eyeshadows, not all eye products are made equally. Just like blushes, just like powders, they're all a little bit different, so you have to be really aware of the ingredients in that and how it works with your eyelids.
PSA, ladies.
Ooh.
This is not a filter. I look 80 years old. Look at my neck. You can get burnt from using retinol.
Sure.
I did not know that. Last week I added it to my skincare routine, and you're supposed to use it once a week to build up a tolerance. I didn't know. I've used products with retinol in it before. Nothing. And it got to where anytime I put on makeup, washed my face, anything, lotion, just, it's like acid and it welts up and burns. So I did some reading up on it because I thought it was the Snap 8. It's not. It's retinol. So yeah, be careful. I read up on it. I got aloe and witch hazel, it says. Ooh, to use. Ouch, no. Or Vaseline, but I hate Vaseline. I look like Groot. I feel like it's wind chapped, or like there's super glue on my face.
Tight.
And like I can't move it. It's horrible. It is so miserable. Look.
Ow, that's bad. Yeah. Ouchies. Horrible. Horrible experience. Okay, I did also have to look at the comments on this one. Let me see if anyone's responded. No, I think, okay, so I left a comment. Just because I feel like I can be helpful in this. Because I saw, she said, okay, so someone said, did you use sunblock as well? It's so important to always use sunblock while with using it. I'm so sorry this is happening. The creator said, my tinted moisturizer has SPF. Please, listen, everyone. Ignore the sunscreen in your foundations and your tinted moisturizers. There's a difference between a tinted SPF and a tinted moisturizer, right? A tinted SPF is an SPF, predominantly it's sunscreen, it's sun protection, and it just happens to have color in. A tinted moisturizer is a lightweight foundation, really, the way brands are making them nowadays. It is not enough. There is not enough sun protection. Even if it says it has SPF 50 in it, the amount of product you are going to use on your face to get the adequate amount of coverage is not enough. Ignore it. But I actually wish brand would stop saying they have SPF in their foundations and all, because you have to use it with SPF. You will see, even in like little writing and all this other stuff, it will say use alongside an SPF. There are so many videos that show you people saying like, this is how much tinted moisturizer you would have to use to actually get adequate coverage. If you're using something like retinol, which yes, as in some skincare, and you don't notice it as much, taking much as an effect because it's not the same level, and then you go and use a retinol, you know, on your face as a treatment, as part of your skincare routine separately as a product, you have to be so careful. SPF 50 every fucking day. Your skin, people don't realize how intense, or how it's not just a vanity thing. I always say this, skincare and makeup is a science, and there's a lot to it that you have to pay attention to. Protecting your skin, oh my gosh, is so important when you're using stuff that makes such an effect on your skin. I can't tell you enough. SPF 50, and they don't have to be heavy. My favorite SPFs, I'll leave them links down below for you to wear with makeup, under makeup, on top of makeup, along with everything I'm wearing on my face today. It is not enough. It's not enough protection at all. I commented it as well, just to be like helpful, because that's insane. Okay.
I went on live yesterday and the first person popped in and was like, ooh, your foundation is
a little orange. Try to find neutral undertone, but otherwise it's close. Definitely a warm tone. You gotta ask a black person.
I'm gonna buy 2 foundations, House Labs and Makeup by Mario. We're gonna go into Sephora and get matched. But first we're gonna sample some skincare. $89 face cream. $54 primer. You guys told me to find somebody black to match me, but that might be a challenge. It's not like I can ask them, do you guys have anybody black coming in? Or can I? Question, do you guys have anybody like black coming in that works here? Because I'm just looking for a foundation match.
You can absolutely ask that. Sorry, just to interrupt this, let me just tell you something. As I've worked with many makeup artists in retail, especially, right? I pride myself on having the ability to match anyone of any skin tone, depth, whatever, to a foundation. I can do it because I learned how to, and I made sure I learned how to a point where sometimes when I was working retail with people, if a black person came in and wanted a foundation match, they couldn't do it and I would have to take over, which I'm like, why aren't you learning this in like your school, whoever taught you? But that's a whole other thing. But please, you can absolutely go into a store and say, do you have a black person to match me to my skin tone? And I'll tell you why, for anyone out there who's like, oh, why has it got to be about race? Because it's quite literally about race, about the skin tone. There are many white people, makeup artists, who cannot and will not even make the effort to learn how to work on deep skin tones. I was helping someone put their kit together once. I was trying to get them all skin tones, but cutting down the shade range. So we go from the deepest and the lightest, and you make your way in from there. And they were like, oh no, it's fine. I won't be doing any black people's skin. And I was like, you fucking what? Like, okay, so what are you going to do Fashion Week? What are you going to do if you get a bride who's black? So this is my point. There are people out there who just won't learn. So if you as a black person feel you need to go into a store and ask for another black person who is well versed in matching your skin tone, because you are about to pay for a product and you feel they are going to get the right match and someone else isn't, then absolutely do it. 100%.
Of course, we have.
Oh, and they use a machine. Okay, so sorry, I'm pausing again. Someone needs to explain that machine to me.
I always thought I was warm, but she said I'm more neutral. Crazy how being called orange will make you run to Sephora. Okay, minus 1 point because the box is hard to open on House Labs. The more I look at myself, the more I'm like, is my natural skin just orange? Like both foundations look the exact same, but let me know if you think they're
that's not a match. Too yellow. It's too yellow. What was that machine then? Because what they were matching her skin tone and it turned out wrong again. It's just slightly too yellow. You can see from her skin here, it is more about like what you call more like a golden tone, but it does have a neutral to it. I look quite yellow on camera, right? But I mean, I look different in every lighting. Sometimes I'm like white as a sheet. Sometimes I look really golden, but I'm very neutral. If I use a yellow tone, I'm too yellow. If I use a pink tone, it's too pink. So I'm very neutral. And I think that's what she is too, because everything they're putting on her is too, I mean, that's orange, but that's, can you, like, okay, we're neutral here. We're very neutral. And then this foundation, you can literally see it's the wrong shade, not only around her jawline, but also on her cheek. It's slightly too dark. You know what? I love doing foundation matches. I wish I could do this. Okay.
It's just a little orange.
Day 3 of learning how to do makeup from you. Okay, so everybody said my skin prep was good, but they did say that I needed to start with the serum and then do the moisturizer and then primer. There's nothing actually written on here. I just feel like it looks more official. I read every single comment and I responded to like 90%. I didn't need to take notes. This series is all I've been thinking about. So many girls have messaged me and been like, this is so helpful to me. I wanted to ask the internet for help. I'm nervous or scared. Thank you. Da, 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 da. Okay, so you guys did say I missed a step in my skincare routine. Oh, you're forgetting sunscreen. But I gotta be really real here. I don't ever wear sunscreen. Don't hit me, okay? I thought my melanin would just protect me from the sun. Plus, I read a statistic that
no one is protected from the sun. It's still there. But you know what? For some people, it's not just about protection. It's about keeping your skin in really good condition. The sun does other things to your skin in terms of pigmentation, in terms of aging. Yeah.
that only 1 in 1,000 black people will get melanoma, while 1 in 33 others will get melanoma. And I know that's probably ignorant, and I know I should start wearing sunscreen, and I am going to start wearing sunscreen, but it's not like I'm a drug addict, okay? So don't be mad. Anything with the word poussey in it's got to be good, right? Hopefully that is enough. Also, this House Labs has a pump. I was doing it like this. I know you guys have heard of a calorie deficit, but I feel like you have me on a foundation deficit.
Okay, take a look at her skin here. It's so neutral. And obviously you can add some warmth around the mouth and around the eyes. Sorry, warmth to me is always like red or orange. I grew up, learned on MAC colors, so it's always opposite. But that can be done before or after. You can use a color corrector before. You can use a bronzing powder after if you want to. Depends on how many products you want to buy, right?
Because you said only 2 pumps. 1, that doesn't count. 1, 2. And then 2 pumps of the blue color corrector. Okay, Mona Lisa. Okay, Color Theory. You guys also said to try to mix it up with the brush and then put it on my face instead of doing like this. Somebody did say I forgot to blend it in my hairline. Some people said I needed an orange color corrector and some people said I needed a peach. So we can do half and half.
Yeah, so orange and peach, it depends on depth of skin tone. I would use a peach if I had darker circles because of how light my skin is. So if we're talking about depth of color corrector, remember depth of color corrector also depends on depth of skin tone and depth of pigmentation. So if your pigmentation is very deep, maybe deep purple, deeper blue, then you use a deeper color corrector. If you have a deeper skin tone and you have very deep pigmentation, then you use a red or an orange. So on her, I would use a tiny bit of an orange one. The peach is going to give a grayness because if it's too light, it makes gray.
They said just put it on my dark spots. My whole under eye is a dark spot, so hopefully that's good. And then around my mouth, I think. I'm really scared of putting anything orange on my face. I'm not gonna lie to you. Also don't really understand color theory because to me, why can't I just put on a bunch of foundation to cover the dark spots, you know? Now peach. Neither one of these is looking too hot.
Yeah, see, okay, can you see how now it's grey because it's gone something too light? So peach is a great colour corrector for people with very fair skin or very light pigmentation, but that looks like just a regular concealer. So you're not getting those colour correcting benefits that you would from the orange on the other side.
Hot right now. Concealer time. My hand is starting to hurt. The concealer is born this way in honey.
Too light.
The rule is...
It's too light. Can you see how it's also completely erased the fact that we've used colour corrector? Because you put something too light on top of something too dark, it's going to turn grey. So now we have a greyness around the eye and a greyness around the lip. What I would do in this situation is use the colour corrector also, but just get a concealer that is your skin tone. Or even, I know we shouldn't be putting foundation under the eyes, even a tiny bit of foundation, and then that lightening concealer, tap a tiny bit here and a tiny bit here, not over the whole face, because you're going to get ashy.
Don't move on until I completely get the last step. How my dark circles look worse than they did before I put concealer on. Okay, chat, what did I do wrong with the concealer? And bathroom lighting. I know this is a fail, I just don't know what I did wrong. And then the porch lighting.
This is the thing with colour corrector. Yes, you can colour correct, but then it doesn't really fix everything instantly. There is still the case of sometimes having to colour correct your colour corrector with your concealer, because you don't want to sit there with orange under eyes, especially when our model here is neutral, right? So, or our client, whoever it is a neutral skin tone. So we have all this orange. That colour is darker than the concealer we're using. So what does that mean? It goes ashy, or it goes too light, giving us grey. So we need to... This is why I don't like colour corrector. I think she could use just a deeper concealer. You know what would even work? Whatever foundation she was using before when she was sitting in the car and everyone was like, you're too yellow. a little bit of that under her eyes because, let's go to her face. Where's her face? Look under her eyes. They weren't grey, they weren't ashy then. So why don't we use that concealer? Or why don't we use that product and then just use a little bit of a lighter concealer, dot it here, don't blend it the whole way across, dot, 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 to brighten those areas, and then we won't get as grey with that. Does that make sense? I miss doing foundation matches in store. I really, really do. I love explaining people's skin to them and just being like, you know, this is how it can fit. And then them understanding it and getting it and be like, oh, okay. I do miss that a lot. That just really made me miss that. I loved having a few more videos in there where we can go a little bit deeper into like someone's routine. Thank you so much for joining me. Please give this video a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you haven't, tag me or send me anything in messages that you see online that you think I would find interesting. And thank you again. I'll see you very, very soon. Bye.